welcome to a very special International Women's Day edition of She Sizzles. Today's guest is a total powerhouse. She moved to Adelaide from India at the age of 17, was one of only four women in her honors engineering class, and once she has used smartwatch data to help solve a murder case. Can you believe that? I can't. Now she is the CEO of Chefadora, an AI platform reaching 100,000 users. That's really fantastic. Please welcome the brilliant Sanjam Kohli. Sanjam, welcome to the show. I'm so pleased you're joining us today on International Women's Day, and really it's balancing the scales. Sanjam, please tell us, people say that AI is cold. You have been using it to preserve a grandma's secret recipe. So, what's your thoughts around that? And how are you helping home cooks and students turn those family secrets into a real income generating business? I'm really curious about it.
Well, first of all, thanks, Kanchana, for having me. And to answer your question, I quite honestly say it's the opposite of cold for us. The whole reason Chefadora exists is because of a very human story. It exists because of my mom. So she has been a stay-at-home mom who has spent her whole life putting her family's needs first, and cooking is her love language. So she has hundreds of handwritten recipes that she's collected over the years. Some are family recipes passed down from my great grandma, some, she has learned from others. So basically, like how Chefadora, the idea for Chefadora came is during COVID, I was missing home, missing her food. We were stuck to our apartment, so we could not go out. So I'd ask her to send me, very, very basic recipes. And she would send it to me, via WhatsApp photos of handwritten notes, voice memos, scattered messages. So I'm an engineer by education, and I like my things to be very neat and methodical. So I hated following those recipes in such an ad hoc way, but the food always turned out to be incredible. So they're like, Mom, why don't you start a blog? You're clearly very talented. And me and my husband, we are both engineers. So how hard could it be? And it turns out that starting a blog and maintaining one is very technically complex, it's expensive, and honestly exhausting to maintain. So you have to do a thousand different things. And we thought, even if we set one up for her, she'll never be able to keep up with it on her own. So we thought, okay, that's all right. Maybe there are hundreds of other recipe platforms. We can try a few. And she did. And a few weeks later, she came back and said, this is too much work. Every recipe takes hours. You have to test it, you have to write it, format it, edit it, the photography and everything. And it's all just for likes. Like you can just take my recipes, I'll just give it to you. So that was kind of pivotal for us. We are so used to accessing recipes for free through Google and now even AI that we have completely stopped valuing the work that creators actually put into them. Because recipes are more than just instructions, they are memories, they're traditions, they're identities that have been passed down for generations. And food is one of the most universal connectors we have. And no platform fairly compensates the people behind these recipes. So that is what we built, a platform where anyone, a home cook, a migrant, I don't know, a student cooking on a budget or a refugee preserving their cultures through food can share what they know and actually earn from it. Chefadora gives 55% of their ad revenue to these recipe creators. It's very similar to how YouTube works. So your content, your recipes keep earning from you long after you've posted it. And the AI is actually what makes it really accessible to someone like my mom. So we have used the AI to remove all the friction that was initially stopping her. And the platform handles all of that, the formatting, writing, discoverability. And the only thing the creator needs to do is bring in the recipe. And because every creator deserves more than just likes.
That's really amazing. And I really love that idea that, you are preserving cultural knowledge that has been passed from generation after generation. And it has been really overlooked for so long. And it's like you are building an economy for the for people like migrants, students. They are able to use it and benefit financially out of it. That's really a great work. Moving ahead, Sanjam, you have gone from designing radio networks on skyscrapers to winning major AI grants right here in Adelaide. That's really awesome. What has been the most rewarding part of building a global tech brand from South Australia? You don't have to be in California. You don't have to be US for doing that in the Silicon Valley. So that's really an interesting part that you're doing it right here in the heart of
Yes, yes, of course. Yes. So you're right. Started, so I'm an electrical and electronics engineer by background. Actually did my degree from University of Adelaide, and I started my career designing radio networks for NSW emergency services. Very, very different world from food, but it gave me something that's shaped everything since. Like I said, I'm very deeply methodical and have that engineering problem solving mindset. And it was also where I got my first real taste of design in a way. Like, although I was designing rack layouts and server room layouts, not exactly glamorous, but it planted a seed that eventually grew into my liking for UX design, which ultimately grew into Chefadora. And when it came to where we should build Chefadora, we made a very big conscious decision to move from Sydney to Adelaide. You're right, like when people hear, global tech company, you kind of always assume Sydney or Melbourne, I don't know, somewhere in the Americas. But building from Adelaide has been hands down one of the best decisions we have made. The ecosystem here, especially the people at Lot 14, they have been extraordinary. Like every time I've asked for help, I have found it. Winning the AIML grant, it has been such a huge validation of what we are building. And there's something about the city itself as well, it does not have that noise and pressure of the bigger
yeah,
cities. And in the evenings, I just like to take my husband and my dog to the beach to decompress. And like, I cannot put a price on it.
that's true.
And the most surprising thing is how genuinely helpful everyone is. When we first started, like I expected people to guard their secrets, protect their edge. Instead, I found that founders really openly share their learnings, their mistakes, their contacts. And there's a real culture of collaboration here in Adelaide. And that was something unexpected for me. And the thing that I'm most proud of though, like honestly, is the risk I took on myself. I'm naturally a very risk averse person. I calculate everything, every
Yeah.
possibility, every scenario, every mitigation plan. Like control is my comfort zone. And yet, like running Chefadora, like every single day brings something I did not plan for. The uncertainty is high. I'm responsible for a few other people on my team. The stakes are also high, but the growth that I've had in the last 3 years is immeasurable. And of course, I did not do it alone. I'm very lucky to have my husband's support, who's also my co-founder, my family, my friends, the founders and team at Stone and Chalk and Lot 14. They've all been a part of it. So yeah, so but a lot of people have actually asked me, like, would you, if, when Chefadora becomes the biggest food platform in the world, would you move to Sydney or Melbourne, even the US? And I always say, why? Like the world does not care where I built Chefadora from. It does not matter. And like you just need the right people around you and well, honestly, a few good beaches.
That's so true. And actually, you are the person who is making Silicon Valley of Australia right here in Adelaide.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think that's really a great achievement for us being from SA, and I'm really proud of you of that achievement. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you, Kanchana.
My pleasure, Sanjam. Now, moving to the next question that we have here on the show. People are often scared that AI is replacing humans, but you call it as co-intelligence. So, how does your voice-enabled Chefadora AI app? And you mentioned during our conversation earlier that
Mm.
it's going to be voice-enabled as well very soon. And now that you have got the chatbot in different languages that's getting launched, so it's a very exciting phase for Chefadora. So how does that voice-enabled factor actually amplify a person's creativity instead of, taking it away? So it's actually not
Mm.
replacing humans, but it is enabling them and bringing them into coexistence and co-intelligence.
Yes, well, you're right. There's this thing going around, that AI is replacing jobs, and it might be. But one thing that I believe that AI cannot replace is our human connection with food. Food is something that is innately human. It carries memories, emotions, identities. And we have all seen those ridiculous AI generated recipes with tamale husks that it suggests that you're supposed to eat. You're not.
An ingredient which might not exist even.
Exactly, they're ridiculous. Machines can never understand what food is and what it means to us. But yeah, that is not what Chefadora believes in, and that is definitely not something we want to promote. So every recipe on Chefadora is genuinely human created. That's a non-negotiable for us. But like I mentioned previously, what AI can do, and it is really good at doing, is removing all the friction that stands between a person and their creativity. That's what co-intelligence means to me. So the human, us as humans, we bring the soul, and AI removes all the friction. So how we use AI in Chefadora. So we have built our proprietary recipe genie, which basically formats, structures, and optimizes the recipes for SEO. So all the tedious, the technical work that nobody likes doing, so the AI handles it. So the creator can focus entirely on what they want to do, the recipe itself, the story behind it, how they want to present it, and everything. And then, like you mentioned, there's our AI cooking assistant as well, which I'll be honest, I built partly for myself. People assume that because I run a food platform, I must be amazing in the kitchen. I am really not. So I have well, that's good to hear. I'm not the only one. So I'm like very basic questions, when I'm following a recipe. Like usually I have to stop and Google commit recipe while my onions are burning in the background. So it's
Yeah,
very
that's true.
annoying. So basically my husband built an AI agent that kind of knows which recipe I'm following, which step I'm on, and it knows what my dietary preferences are. So it answered all my questions in real time, and it worked so well. I was like, you know what? We need to introduce it to the whole platform. And we did, and people really love it. So it helps some people everywhere, adapt their recipes to their specific needs, their dietary requirements, ingredient substitution, skill level. You can choose. And this is where we are heading next as well, a fully voice enabled cooking co-pilot, which would be hands-free, conversational. It's like kind of having like a buddy next to you standing in the kitchen, a very well-versed in the kitchen buddy.
Yeah.
So
Well
when you're
versed in us,
mid-recipe
I
and
would say.
yes, definitely well versed than us. Yeah. So when you're in you're mid recipe, your hands are probably covered in dough or something, and you can just ask it and it tells you. And now we are also using AI to translate our recipes into more than 80 languages because I believe language, especially English, should never be a barrier to sharing or accessing food culture. Yeah. So does AI amplify creativity on Chefadora? Absolutely. But it will never replace it. The creativity, the knowledge, and the human story behind every recipe that will always be the creators. AI just makes sure that they can do whatever they want to do, and there's nothing stopping them.
Amazing. So it makes us more smarter, and that's
Yes.
that's really incredible. I mean, we can save our time and make perfect recipes out of these from the app. That's really
Yes.
wonderful. So it's time now, Sanjam, for the test round. Are you ready for the 30 seconds on the clock?
Yes.
Okay, amazing.
Yes.
So one word for the future of women in tech.
Unstoppable.
Wonderful. Best advice for a woman with a big idea but no coding skills.
Well, coding is no longer the barrier as it once was. So the only thing that is standing between you and your idea is your will to start. So just go for it.
Wonderful. The comfort food that keeps a CEO going after a long day, especially you.
A big, warm bowl of pho. That's my go-to.
Amazing. Tell us about Coco because I really want to tell the audience how Coco helps you after a long day.
Coco is my tiny little dog. He's also Chaperora's chief mental health officer. He is such a big foodie. Oh my God, he just loves eating. So he's always right next to us in the kitchen, or whenever we're doing anything. So he just keeps us going.
Amazing. The next time when we have a podcast, we are bringing Coco as well.
Of course, he's probably downstairs in the kitchen.
Thank you so much, Sanjam, for being so authentic today. You have shown us that actually the best tech isn't about coding, it's about soul and the heart that we actually pour into it. To everyone watching, thanks for listening and keep sizzling. Thanks, Sanjam.
Thanks, Kanjana. Thanks for having me.